Hai dek, tengah belajar untuk apa sekarang ni? Hai uncle, saya tengah buat matriculation sekarang. Budak pandai. Matriculation ni budak pandai. Bagus juga Memang pandai pun. Those who pursue matriculation, they're always budak pandai. We are always budak cemerlang. So these are the kind of labels even I got everywhere publicly. The moment when I say I'm doing matriculation, people are like, pandainya. Ni mesti semua A, SPM ni. Oh, ni mesti budak cemerlang. Betul lah, saya budak cemerlang. Saya dapat 7A+, 2A untuk SPM. Dan saya ni merupakan pelajar daripada Matriculation School Kuala Lumpur. Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bertha, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe now before I throw you in any matriculation colleges. Why do you have to pursue matriculation after your SPM? It's not because I pursued it, but there are some other reasons. Let me just reveal it all to you. Normally, after your SPM, okay, when you're 17 years old, we are all thinking, what should we pursue next in order for us to do our degree? And some would want to pursue their master's, PhD, postdoctorate studies, and so on. I was very confused once upon a time. But then, I had a conversation with a lecturer from University Malaya. He's actually my neighbor. And then this uncle came and told me what I should pursue, because initially my whole family, normally I think the Indians and Chinese in Malaysia, we always want to do A levels because our plan is to go overseas. But that is not the case with my father. I mean, he always wanted us to go into public university, and then I realized one thing. Private university, anyone can get into it. If you fail certain subjects in your SPM, you can still pay a lot of money and pursue whatever ambition you want to do, whatever course you want to take. So that is the weakness of a private university, because they're all after money. How a public university, the moment you are studying in UM or matriculation and all these public sectors, right? If you're pursuing your education here, people will look at you higher, because you don't play with money here, darling. You actually have to get A's. You actually have to excel in your examinations in order to get into public sector or public institutes. So that is why I'm very proud to say to people that I'm from University Malaya right now, because people are like, budak pandai ni. Itulah saya nak. So let me tell you more about matriculation program. All around Malaysia, we have matriculation colleges in literally all the states right now. And we have 1 year program or 2 years program, which is called program 1 tahun PST and program 2 tahun PDT. But program 2 tahun is only for the Bumi Putra who cannot fulfill the criteria for program 1 tahun. You can appeal for program 2 tahun, and you have to pursue matriculation for 2 years there, which means you'll be sitting for 4 semesters. But program 1 tahun is only 2 semesters. And matriculation program is super cheap, guys. I remember I only paid about 580 ringgit for the 2 semesters once. And I'm gonna brief about how to apply and all that later on, so do watch until the end of the video. About matriculation, once you actually apply, right, you will actually be randomly given an institute for you to study. And mine is like away from Kuala Lumpur. And what I actually found out is that from the place you're actually living, they will certainly give a college that's far from you, and you will need to stay in hostel, because the matriculation system is just 2 semesters. So just imagine how much of syllabus and courses, topics you need to cover, and that is why they do not encourage you to travel back and forth, because time consuming, and they don't want all these accidents to take place and so on. So they just want you to just stay in the campus, focus. And they also kind of have very strict rules about gender mixing. You shouldn't go out with guys, girls, because they really don't want you to, be blind in love, babies. Don't fall in love and be blind. Focus on your studies instead. Another thing why I actually prefer doing matriculation over STPM is that I heard if you want to get into public university, they give higher weightage. They prioritize matriculation student first, and then they look into STPM students. I mean, STPM is super difficult, that's what I heard, and the certificate is internationally recognized. That means you can go and study in Australia, Canada, and so on. And if your motive is to go overseas, then yes, you can do STPM. But if your motive is to do in local university, like University Malaya, USM, UPM, and so on, because we have great universities which are top 100. Although you study overseas, those ranking will be so bad. So don't just go for the status overseas, but do, kind of consider studying here too. According to my research, with matriculation certificate, you can still get into certain countries and pursue the next education level. So that does not mean when you have matriculation result, you can't go overseas at all. You can, baby, so don't worry. Another thing about matriculation is that, for an example, if you're going to do foundation, the thing is that it's going to be 1 year also, but you have to pursue the degree at the same institute. For an example, if you're doing foundation at and then you have to do degree at too, it means you need to already have your clear direction where you want to study later on. But for matriculation, you just have to do matriculation in the matrix college and you can pursue your degree anywhere. Like I did my matriculation in KMNS as mentioned, and I pursued my degree in University Malaya. So there are actually 4 fields in matriculation for you to choose from. The first one is science, second one is engineering, third one is accounting, fourth one is professional accounting. So you can choose any field that you want to pursue based on your eligibility also. So for an example, science field, you need to get like good results in biology, chemistry, physics and all that, so you can get into science module, or else you can go for engineering, accounting and so on. And do know that if you're from science stream in your high school, you can certainly take any of the courses, but if you're from the social science classes and so on, then the selection is a little narrower, so you have to make proper decision if you want to take which module and so on. And yes, they do have this problem in Malaysia where matriculation 90% is allocated for the Bumi Putra, 10% is for the non-Bumi. However, the good news now is that they have actually increased the capacity. So from 25,000 people, now we're actually taking in 50,000 people every year, I guess. And I'm not sure how this calculation is done, but that means there is higher chances for the non-Bumi to also get into matriculation. And now it's time for me to share about how do you apply to matriculation. First, you need to buy the PIN from BSN Bank. That does not mean you have to open an account in BSN Bank, but just buy a PIN. Last time when I bought, I think it was a 10 ringgit, but now when I saw on the internet, it's about 16 ringgit. So get that PIN, you will get like a password or something. So you log into the system and you apply for which college matriculation. And certainly if you want to do matriculation, you must pass your Bahasa Melayu and Sejarah year. So the fees when I saw in the internet is 600 ringgit for science and engineering field and 547 ringgit for accounting and professional accounting field. So certainly you should do matriculation, because if you want to be labeled as a budak pandai, buatlah matriculation. And also I really feel privileged to do matriculation because in 1 year I'm able to complete it and just pursue my degree. And I do have friends who did A-levels, STPM for 2 years, and they are a little late in terms of degree, so I feel like I'm the youngest in terms of degree, you know, because in my class it's like very little of us did matriculation. I was like, okay, I'm the young girl here. In terms of hygiene, you must be able to tolerate that, because certainly you're actually, matriculation was the first time I stayed in dorm, so I had to tolerate staying with roommates. So sometimes if you have terrible roommates, it's going to be a little disturbing. So you can try to talk to the fellow and change your room. And another thing you must be able to tolerate is the rules. You must be very disciplined. And thirdly, sometimes they have uniform, like certain matriculation. So in Penang, I know that you have to wear baju kurung literally every day, but for me in Negeri Sembilan, it was just on Thursdays you need to wear baju kurung. So this was all simple thing that I had to follow. So yeah, and the great thing about matriculation is that the environment, because most of the colleges are in rural spots. So mine was in Kuala Pilar. So in the mornings, I wake up to this foggy morning, and walking to the class had all been a wonderful experience for me, except all this Historia, Ghost, Toyola, and Sumunila. So I don't want to talk more about that. But if you guys are interested about all these horror stories during my matriculation years, I'm happy to share. But yeah, so these are the reasons why you should actually do matriculation, because instead of being labeled as budak pandai, it's also a very fast and a priority route towards getting your degree in public university. And of course, you can also pursue your degree in overseas with matriculation certificate. And yes, you will also have MUAT test done during your matriculation time itself. So this MUAT test will actually help you to study or take up so many other courses online or offline and stuff like that. And MUAT is very, very important. If you have band 4, 5 or 6, then girl or boy, you can actually be encouraged to join some delegation programs, some online conferences overseas and all these things. Because using the MUAT test results, I was actually able to join many online programs that were like Model United Nations and so on. So these are privileges I actually had. Do comment what you would like to watch next, just so I'll be more ready to share about my experiences. So do subscribe to my channel, only then you will be able to follow up with whatever contents that I'm actually posting. Alright, and also do share to help other people to decide if they want to do matriculation, STPM, and so on. So I'll actually do a further in-depth video in the next video.